Okay, so Joey Aguilar took a class in high school about firefighting and then became enamored with the profession. And he was tired of his commute his first year of JUCO ball. He was having to pay $100 of his own money he didn't have, according to him, to travel. It was basically a 90-minute commute on the train, or I believe it was a train, and he was, or a bus or something. I don't know. And it was a 90-minute commute. He'd leave at 6 a.m. in the morning and get back at 10 p.m. And he just was to redshirt at a small JUCO school. So he was like, should I just quit fall and just go be a firefighter? But his family's like, no, man, stay patient, keep working. And then he transferred a little bit closer to Diablo College, which is only a 20-minute commute. And he got to play and then balled out a little bit and then got hurt, but came back and balled out and then got offers from Appy State and Coastal Carolina. And then he got to App State, and then App State, he was just going to be the backup, but the starter then hurt his finger in camp. So Joey got to start. His first start was against North Carolina, and he liked to get the 4-yard line before games because that's his jersey number. So he was sitting there listening to one of his favorite songs about the grind and how far he's came, and he went out and played pretty well. But then he thought his career was over after last year, and last year didn't go very well for him. It was a tumultuous year at App State. He's like, my career's over. But then the Diego Pavia ruling, kind of ironically enough, set the stage for Tennessee to have a quarterback. So now he gets to play here. According to this report by The Athletic, roughly $1.2 million in NIL money to come to Tennessee. It was $2 million at UCLA. So he took a little bit of a haircut moving across the country. But, hey, cost of living, ain't I right, Maga Jackson? High cost of living in California. A little bit easier here in Knoxville, so maybe he didn't lose that much money and the whole income tax thing. But, yeah, now he's getting ready to play, and now he's ready to ball out. I will say, though, we had it here in Knoxville with Zakai, right? We talked about Zakai Ziegler, and we loved the story of Zakai. We loved the player, but I think we loved the story as well. The guy that was, on the train just to find basketball. The guy that was out there taking care of himself, grinding for opportunities. Someone who gets it out of the mud. When you juxtapose that to the guy we just talked about, Nico Iamaleava, which one you want, Cody? Do you want the grinder, the guy that's been at the bottom, that's worked his way up, or do you want the 5-star superstar that
prima donna
that has kind of had everything handed to him?
Prima donna. Nico is the definition of a prima donna.
I think almost everyone would say give them the grinder, give them the guy that got it out of the mud. Almost everyone would say that. So, reading this short article about Joey Aguilar, it does make him seem very easy to root for. It does seem very easy for him to come in and take over a locker room as a leader. Or at least not be intimidated by the prospect of being a leader, because he's actually had struggle in his life. He's had struggle in his career. And he probably looks at Tennessee as a prize, honestly. After where he's been and where he's played, the path he's been on, thinking his career was over multiple times, and just somehow he keeps surviving. If you're him, you got an opportunity now to do something special. The article talks about his NFL prospects, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's see what he does in the SEC first. But at the very least, this is the biggest platform he's ever going to play football on. This is a golden opportunity to be at a prestigious program in a prestigious position. I know we're years removed from Peyton Manning, but hey, he's doing the same thing Peyton Manning used to do. It's a prestigious position that he is in at a big-time school, in front of a big-time fan base, getting to play in front of a big-time crowd on a big stage against SEC opponents. He's nationally relevant. So I do think Joey Aguilar probably feels like he has struck gold here. I imagine he didn't mind giving up the reported $800,000 or so to come to Tennessee for a chance to do something special.
Some say it's the biggest stage you could possibly be on in terms of a home crowd, the best possible place to play. It is a nice come-up story from taking a bus or a train or whatever it was somewhere called Diablo Community College to now making $1.2 million. with Tennessee. That's a pretty nice come up for sticking with football. Sometimes things just work out, you know. It's all part of the plan. Some people say everything happens for a reason, and maybe Joey believes that.
There's some stats out there, man, that show that he's pretty good on the deep ball.
Yeah.
And, like, if there was one quality that you'd want a Tennessee quarterback to have, would it not be can hit the deep ball? Like,
yeah.
Consistently throws a good deep ball. Would that not be the number one quality that you would think would unlock this offense?
It seems like it could make it fun again. I mean, you take the good with the bad. You know, you're going to have some turnovers this year. I would almost be certain it's not going to be like Hendon Hooker's year with what do you have, 2 interceptions, or what did it end up being, 3? Very few interceptions. I would say it's very unlikely that Joey has less than 8 interceptions. But if he's connected on the deep balls, you take the good with the bad.
Frank writes in on YouTube. Shout out to the people watching on Fan Run TV. Go like and subscribe. Did a Boo Carter SEC chat with Jesse Simonton, formerly of VolQuest and On3, one of those national college football voices. It's a pretty good listen if you want to listen after Talk Sports is over. But Frank writes in, Nico didn't take us anywhere. It was that defense and our running game. Nico was bad. And that's easy to say. If you want to do that as a fan, Frank, go right ahead. But, like, in sports, in football, a lot of times the quarterback gets credit or blame for what you do as a win. Now, if you want to say Nico wasn't the main reason we went to the playoff, sure. Okay. If you want to say that, I won't even push back too far. But, like, we give our quarterbacks credit for winning games. No one says, realistically at least, unless you're just, like, I guess, trying to defend Peyton Manning, no one looks and says, like, hey, Tom Brady, you know, he didn't really win those Super Bowls with the Patriots. No, they don't really do that, at least not anymore. Maybe it was one of those things where they used to, and then he just kind of beat everybody's head in, and maybe they bent the knee. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
quarterback gets the glory.
I agree with Frank, generally speaking, but you do have to have your quarterback make some throws here and there. You have to have a guy who can make a few plays. And Nico made some plays. You know, I don't think you win the Alabama game without Nico. Second half, Florida, you know. Now, you could say if you had another quarterback, maybe you would be more comfortable in those games. Like if you had a better quarterback, but.
And I think the film would show that. Like the film alone of Nico's missed throws against Alabama, especially in the first half, if you have Hendon Hooker in there, you're scoring 50 points again. Like,
yeah, you're probably beating the hell out of that Alabama team.
He missed a lot of guys running wide open down the field. So, again, I'm trying to be fair here. I'm not saying that Nico was the main reason you got to the playoff, but he took you to the playoff. He's a starting quarterback. He did enough to get you there. We don't have to change that just because we don't like the guy anymore.
I do think in a majority of the games, though, I mean, it was our defense and our running game we were pointing to.
Our run game was overrated last year. I know that's might be blasphemous to say, but like
overrated?
Yeah, when you look at like the actual like efficiency of the runs, I mean, we did get a lot of yards, but like we were banging our head against the wall, and part of the reasons we were getting shut out in first halves, it wasn't just Nico. You know what I mean? Like if the run game was so dominant, we have to kind of blame them for getting shut out in 3 first halves as well.
Could also blame the play calling.
No, yeah, sure. Like, and again, I'm not just saying, hey, it's Dylan Sampson. Hey, it's the run game's fault. Like, I think Nico, I think the run game, I think Joey, I think all of it's connected. But like, the run game wasn't some dominant run game. Dylan Sampson put up some great numbers, but like, there's not very many games I felt like he dominated.
Well, I think a run game a lot of times will take over in the second half. I think part of that, you know, we had some stalemates there. With you never want to score 0 points in the first half, but I think you see that in football a lot where a good rushing game can take over the game in the second half, fourth quarter in particular.
Oh, yeah, sure. But I also think that we would say that Nico played better in the second half.
Yeah, but I'm just saying from a run game perspective, sometimes you got to wear the other guys out. like defenses get more tired throughout the game, you know, and so by the fourth quarter, a good offensive line can win you the game. I think we had some moments like that where the second half things came together.
Samson was great last year. I'm not trying to take away from him. I just don't think we had some dominant run game.
I think it's pretty good. I don't know about dominant. I mean, it wasn't like Derrick Henry in Alabama, but
the defense carried us to the playoff. Like, if we're looking for the main reason, it was the defense, in my opinion. Would you agree or disagree with that?
The main reason was the defense? Yeah, I would agree.
The defense is what carried us to the playoff.
I would agree. Ideally, you want to have balance offensively.
Sure.
You have to have that if you're going to have a good offense. I mean, you look back to 2022, every good offense, every great offense is balanced. There's never a great offense that is not balanced. Now, you might be a little run heavy or a little pass heavy, but you got to have both. Can't be one-dimensional.
Any thoughts on the rumors that came out yesterday about North Carolina? You talked about Bill Belichick, North Carolina. Any thoughts on them potentially being linked to the SEC?
Well, you know, we've always talked about it, how it would make sense because you add another state, you add a couple more markets. You would add the Charlotte, Raleigh, Tobacco Country. You'd add the whole the Research Triangle. You know, the state of North Carolina. You add that into your conference. I mean, that would generate more money, so that makes sense. You get Duke too.
No, I don't think we take Duke too
for the basketball.
No, I don't think so. It'd be the school. It was linked to be North Carolina, and Clemson is who it was linked. That was the second school mentioned with it.
I think we're past the point of no return when it comes to conference expansion. Like the moment we added Texas and Oklahoma, at that point it was just like, well, we're going to add whoever. Now the SEC is just not what the SEC used to be, which is fine. I don't have a huge problem with it, but at this point, if we were to add Clemson and North Carolina and we go to 18 teams instead of 16, I mean, what's the difference? We've already added a bunch of outsiders.
Clemson makes sense to me because they're, a powerhouse in football, but North Carolina really, because they're not dominant in basketball as they used to be. They're not dominant in football.
I don't think we want teams to come in and dominate. Like I thought Texas and Oklahoma was too damn good to be bringing them in. This SEC would have been a lot more fun for us if Texas wasn't in here.
I agree, but if you are going to expand the conference, in my opinion, it's better to expand it with teams or schools that will increase the overall win percentage at the end of each athletic season.
It's the TV markets. I mean, that's why they want North Carolina.
But does North Carolina has a huge fan base like that?
Well, it's in Charlotte, and they do have a huge fan base. Now, you could say that most of them are basketball fans, but like in this scenario, you'd be getting their basketball school as well to come into the program.
I guess I'd think about football first.
Now, I don't know if the math changes when ESPN does this, their own app and starts charging $30 and maybe goes off cable altogether, although I don't know if they would do that. But the story has always been, Jackson, that you want TV markets. And by TV markets, really, it means states. The more states that carry the SEC network that have, the schools in that footprint, you get like an extra like $7. It's some type of number. I've forgotten what the number actually is, but basically you're rewarded by each state you have. So like adding Missouri, adding Texas, that was a big deal. Going to get Oklahoma was a big deal. So in this, we don't have any SEC teams in North Carolina, so you add them. Now, Clemson, of course, already in South Carolina, but it's one of the reasons Virginia has been linked to the SEC for so long, because the SEC would be expanding its footprint into another state with Virginia. Go ahead, Bubba.
So instead of North Carolina, I say let's add in West Virginia. I think they fit the vibe. Some rowdy boys up there in Morgantown. And we sent Texas A&M back to the Big 12.
I do wish we would, like Cody said, there's no big difference between 16 and 18. I disagree. I think 18 feels gross. At least with 16, you can have a perfectly sized like bracket if you have to. 18, you got to start doing some weird stuff. It just looks, it's too much. I'd be fine with adding a couple of schools as long as we start kicking schools out. Like A&M, sure, kick them out. We don't need them anymore. We got Texas. See ya.
Send Missouri packing.
No, we need the state. We need St. Louis. Did you not just hear what I said about the state rights, Jackson?
Yeah, I understand. It's just, man.
We gotta kick-
Vanderbilt, go to the Ivy League.
Yeah, cool. Send Vanderbilt packing then.
Kick Vanderbilt or, hey, we don't need you anymore. We got North Carolina. Buddy, that's a good institution too.
They're an original member.
Hey, one of the
So is Sewanee.
Mississippi schools. Get out of here.
Fair enough.
Damn, Jackson just put you in a body
Yeah,
back
that's a
there.
good-
Look what happened to Sewanee. They're
That's a
like a
good counterpoint.
D3 school now.
That's a
Oh,
good counterpoint there, Jackson.
they ruined Sewanee. Yeah, Sewanee got completely ruined.
Tulane was a founding member, weren't they?
Okay, no one likes to show off. Hour 2 in the books. We'll kick off hour 3 with headlines. Let's talk sports on Fan Run Radio.
The flagship station for Tennessee football. Fans. Fan